everybody, and welcome to another wonderful episode of the Agree to Disagree show on the New American Media, because the old American media has failed you. Yes, they failed you. Well, have they failed you? I mean, yes. Has the media suddenly gotten crazy? No, it's always been crazy, and they've always been feeding you crap. They've always been manipulating you. But because of the beauty of what Al Gore gave us just a few short years ago, thank you, Mr. Al Gore, for inventing the internet. We are here, and we can hold people accountable to the lies. And man, are we full of lies today. We are exposing, peeling back the layers of the onion, and we are pleased once again to be joined with
Blake Walley. Hello.
Hi, Blake. Thanks for joining us. Tell people where they can find you and your body of work, sir, as an independent gonzo journalist, if you will.
Right. Easy to be. Follow me on social media, Twitter, TV's Blake Walley, or thenextlevelnews.com is my website, and the archive is all there. All of our shows and highlights and blurbs and stuff. Thank you.
Blurbs, blogs, and blurbs. All right, so today's topics are going to be thus. Each show we do, we have boilerplate questions that we quickly touch on and see if there's any updates and what's going on. Guess what? A lot of these shows, there are 0 updates. Today, there are 2. One boilerplate is the Restrict Act. Anything there? Point being, You need to contact your representatives and let them know, because this is the end of everything if the Restrict Act passes. Like, everything is over. It's so anyway. Second one is the Biden impeachment update. Yes, we got big updates on that today. Updates on the Trump indictment. What the heck just happened? Yes, we have an update there. We will discuss it and break it down. We're going to talk about the borders. We're going to talk about Gavin Newsom and reparations. We're going to talk about George Santos. Okay, remember that guy? I'll tell you about that guy. We're going to talk about Tucker Carlson and Twitter. That's a new thing. I mean, it's not a new thing, but it is. It's going to be a new thing, and we'll break it down. I don't want to get into the stories before we get to the stories. So hello to Kim. Hello to everybody watching on all of the streaming platforms. Thank you so much for being a part of this. We appreciate you and love you. We want you to follow the Agree to Disagree show on Spotify. The New American Media on Rumble, the New American Media on Facebook. I'm sorry, the New American Media on YouTube. Facebook deleted our page without cause. Follow the New American Media and TNAM chat, and on the Telegram app, and then on Twitter we're at American_media_. So we're going to get into all of these stories right on the other side of this awesome intro created by Blake Walley. By the way, Blake Walley's available if you want to hire him to do some video projects. You just
this one's about 90%. It still needs to be refined, but we're working on that. But it's a great rough draft.
It is a great rough. Absolutely, yes. Let's clarify that. Yeah, because I actually have like 10 edits. I know I don't. You don't want to hear that I have edits, but I do. So there's a few things I want to move around. But yeah, this is a great representation of. It takes a long time to do this, but Blake's good at it. So if you want to hire Blake, you can send him a message on Twitter at TV's Blake Walley, and he can do this for you as well. So here's the rough draft. We're just excited to show you. What did you say, Blake? It's kind of like a demo reel.
Yeah, right? Pretty much. Yeah.
So here it is, the Agree to Disagree show, starting now.
All righty.
Heck yeah. Well, let's get into today's show. We are debuting something new today. It looks like our intro took 5 minutes, Blake. It was pretty quick. We gave a rundown of what the shows are, a brief reminder of how to follow you and how to follow us on the show. We had about a minute 15 for the intro. It ate into about 5 minutes and 30 seconds. So we are trying to give you the most, we just had the Kentucky Derby, being a Louisville resident. Pretty cool. And they call it like the most exciting 2 minutes in sports, right? So we're about to give you the most exciting hour in news. So we're going to try to jam pack 1 hour, all the stories. This leaves us about, with 6 minutes in, we got about 54 minutes to go. So let's jump in to today's topics. Are there any updates on the Restrict Act? Blake, you don't know of any updates, right? I don't know of any updates on my side.
We have 2 of the 3 updates. We're good. Yeah.
2 of the 3 updates. But here's just your reminder. The Restrict Act is the end of everything. Seriously, read this trash. 100% unanimous approval from everybody in Congress. Definitely dangerous. And then, so the question is, did they add all the creepy stuff after? Or is it the plan all along and they're getting ready to just drop the hammer down and ruin everything? Is independent media, as anybody who likes to actually have accurate information, I know the deep state hates that, but we hate the deep state because they hate us. So if the deep state actually worked for us, then we'd probably love them. If they cared about our freedoms and liberties, we'd probably love them and lock arms together, dancing and skipping off into the sunset. However, they must be watched with every ounce of critical what am I trying to say? With criticism, with critique?
With critical, analysis.
Critical analysis, thank you. We must follow them like hawks, providing critical analysis to make sure that we're not being led astray, which they have been doing. So anyway, please contact all of your local representatives. And seriously, I'm not kidding about this. Find who your reps are, call them, email them. Make sure that you know that they know that you know what the Restrict Act is, and make sure they know that we're against it. So make sure you do that. Dr. Jekyll says, yes, they must be watched through a scope. What is that? Heavy on the fuzz box. What's the fuzz box? I don't know what the fuzz box is. What's the fuzz box? That's a Kim comment. I don't know. Okay, next one.
There must be some Photoshop talk. I'm not quite sure.
Okay. Well, I mean,
she's an expert at Photoshop. She makes some great design work. You might have seen it on the a Friday Night Frolics show or Fun Time or whatever we're calling it. She just does, some of the Star Trek and the James Bond stuff and many other things. So she's a talented designer. You can follow her on Twitter as well, Kim Reck.
Okay, perfect. All right, first big topic of the day, the number one topic of the day, a Biden impeachment update. Blake, goodness, I'm so excited because, true or false, I've been calling for this for weeks now. And I've been saying that we need to go on offense, stay on offense. We being anybody who's not a crazy, radical, death cult member of the progressive nutjob loony bin house. So if you're not nutso, if you're not a totalitarian nightmare, you are on my team. I'm neither Republican nor libertarian. I'm just not crazy. So in defense of sanity, we have to do this. But I've been calling for us to stay on offense against the progressives for a while now. Finally, today, what we've been waiting for, it is here. So with no further ado, I'm going to play this little intro and get into the best story of the day.
All right.
The title of today's show is The Biden Crime Family Finally Finished. I know that gave a chill up Blake Walley's leg because he's a super fan of the alliterations. True or false?
True. Okay. Wordplay.
Yeah. That's right. So, Blake, pull up an article and tell us about the Biden family. Do you agree or disagree that the Biden family made millions on influence peddling schemes? Do you agree or disagree?
I'm going to have to agree so far. At least that's the accusation, and it's still a developing story. But I'm going to go with it until they can prove otherwise. But it's something that's been suspected for quite a while. So let's see here.
Suspected, or it's been freaking obvious to anybody with eyes and ears.
Yeah, we've been trying to warn about this for a while, and that's what the Hunter laptop shows. This was the big October surprise in 2020. And it wasn't just that he's, a degenerate, drug abuser, or and we haven't even gotten into some of the sexual stuff that's pretty disgusting and disturbing. But it's also all the shady business deals that were going on with the Biden family. So I think that was the title of the show too, is the Hunter Biden crime, or it's the Biden crime family. So right now, this is the big bombshell that just broke a few hours ago. Bank records showing Biden in payments from China and foreign interest. House Oversight Committee, and this is Rep. James Comer, not to be confused with Comey, who is a...
I do confuse them a little bit, because Comey is such a train wreck. He is such an anti-American nutso. Comer, thanks for clearing that up.
Oh, that's one of your guys, too. He's a representative of Kentucky. So, banking and other records...
I mean, but between James Comer, Rand Paul,
yeah.
Thomas Massey, Kentucky has like the best representatives. I feel like I want to get involved in politics now. It gives me hope.
Yeah, you got to chase up McConnell, but then you guys got 3 stars.
Oh yeah, get McConnell out and let's impeach him immediately. He is okay. Yes, please continue. We are staying focused today.
Right. So banking and other records made public Wednesday by House Committee on Oversight and Accountability Chairman James Comer depict a complex money laundering scheme involving millions of dollars, many from foreign countries, given to President Joe Biden and nearly a dozen members of his family. So in a memorandum summarizing findings to date of the House Committee, chaired by Comer, investigators described examining thousands of bank records and legal documents depicting nearly 24 limited liability corporations, or LLCs, established by Biden family members to receive payments from private clients, corporations, and foreign governments, including China and Romania. So here's the quote. Biden family members and business associates created a web of over 20 companies. Most were limited LLCs formed during Biden's vice presidency. Bank records show the Biden family, their business associates, and their companies received over $10 million from foreign nationals' companies. Committee has identified payments to Biden family members while Joe was serving as VP and after he left public office. So I will pause there. Also got a couple other stories about it. So Biden made millions exchanging the political favors from foreign money, then tried to cover it up. That's according to this oversight report. And I'm also going to just throw in here that there are 9 members of the Biden family who are implicated in the corruption. You got Hunter, you got James, Sarah, Hallie, Kathleen, Melissa, a couple of the nieces and nephews that have been unnamed, and a unknown grandchild, and probably not the illegitimate one in Arkansas from the stripper that they tried to get out of making child support payments on.
You took those lines right out of my mouth. That's exactly what I was winding myself up to throw in there. Thank you. Good.
All right. So there it is. That is a huge, huge story, and this should lead to an impeachment. They need to be questioned. And you got several members. Right.
An immediate impeachment. Like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I am done waiting. Go on offense. Stay on offense. They are ruining our country. They are selling us out, and they are illegitimately in that office. Get them out. Stay on offense. We need somebody that actually cares about this country, not lining their own pockets. I want to remind you, right. I want to take you in the Wayback Machine here. This is a picture of this weirdo, this creepy pedo Pete. What do they call him? Where did that come from? That came from the diary? Or
Pedo Peter? No, it's Hunter Biden's phone, I believe. That was the name, but I don't know if that was attributed to the dad or not. So it's unclear,
okay, so
but it could be.
Unclear, but you can read Ashley Biden's diary if you want. I mean, they've been trying to protect this creep, and you know what? We're done. We're not doing it anymore. If the deep state wants people to stop opposing them, you need to stop lying to us and put some people in that work with us, not against us. This guy works against us. I just want to take you in the Wayback Machine. This is a Yahoo story that was on CBS 19. I don't know where that's at. Scottsdale, maybe Arizona. Barack Obama reportedly spoke with a Democrat, expressing his private doubts about Joe Biden becoming the presidential nominee in 2020. According to Politico, the former presidents don't underestimate Joe's ability to fuck things up. You should have listened to Barry Soetoro. You should have listened to him because he was right. Never underestimate Joe Biden's ability to fuck things up, including our country. But that's proper context, Blake. We all saw this coming. And any idiot that voted against him to say, oh, well, at least he's not Trump. Oh, yeah, at least we're not going to have low gas prices, no more foreign conflicts for the first time in how many decades our president involve us in some nonsensical quagmire overseas that we have no business belonging in. Oh, heaven forbid we're actually trying to get a handle on our border and making sure things are secure. Yeah, at least Joe Biden's not Trump. To all of you people, this is on you. If this would have been the 90% blowout that it should have been, that error for finagling or drop boxes or signature verification and, massive spikes at 3 a.m., pausing, none of that would have mattered if it would have been a 90-10 complete blowout like it should have. So to anybody out there that actually, I don't think there's a ton of people. I'm sorry, there's 81 million completely legitimate voters that voted for our most popular president of all time. Bullshit. But to the people that did actually vote for Biden, we told you, we fucking told you for years. And just because Orange Man bad, he said grab him by the pussy, he's just so cringe. Yeah, but you know what he was? He was a badass president. He was a badass boss. He's the dude that worked in New York, worked in Manhattan, dealt with the construction workers, dealt with the local politicians, got through zoning, had an idea, had a vision, put it onto a blueprint, and built skyscrapers, built massive monuments, did amazing things. And he was running America like a fucking boss. Yeah. And you know how vacant that seat has been since he's left? It's been painfully devoid of anything resembling leadership, cognition, sanity, or goodness. So to all of you, I don't know what, 20 million of you. I mean, 81 million totally legitimate votes. That's what I mean.
Right.
All of you that actually voted for Joe Biden, we told you not to do this. Your boy Barry said not to do this. Barack Hussein Obama told you to never underestimate Joe's ability to fuck things up. And Blake, I apologize, but my God, I think I dropped like 10 swear words in the first couple minutes here. I tried to normally
Brian's not all fired up.
So warranted.
Yeah, well, it feels like we're finally justification, finally vindication. Of the warning. But I mean, they kind of wanted this guy, so it feels like he was compromised and blackmailed, and the executive branch has been for sale to the highest bidder. So this is treason. This is bad news. But I mean, they should have known some of this, and yet they put him up there anyway. Well, yeah, because they figure he's compromised and they get him to do whatever he wants, and then he can take the fall. So they can kind of use him in that regard. And then when things go south, they can, just toss him aside. Like, who cares? So no one's going to miss Joe. So he's the perfect fall guy.
And I've always suspected that Obama didn't like Biden and that he was going to set him up to be destroyed. I've always suspected it was like one of those frenemy things. Like it was an uncomfortable partnership. And but Obama thinks he's the smartest person in every room he walks into. He's not. He's not. He's a little wordsmith, sure, but you're full of shit, and we've always known that about you, Barry. We know how you were educated. We know how you were groomed. We know how you were raised. We know how you were taught. We know about the cultural Marxism. We know about your divisive political games in Chicago as a community agitator or organizer. We know everything about who you are and what you are. And I've always suspected that you were going to wreck Joe Biden on the way out the door. And I've been saying it, Blake, for how long? This is the third Barack Obama term. The people around him, it's the same cast of characters. It's the same team. So it is the third Obama term. Nobody thought that Joe had any sort of cognitive abilities at this stage of his career, if he ever had cognitive abilities, which he didn't when he was getting busted for plagiarism, when he was, go to the Ashley Biden diaries. Like, there's a million things you can look at with this guy. A million things. And good Lord, thank you. Please let this be the beginning, and may the first arrest shock the world. Mm?
I'm down. Yeah, it's about time. We've been
For the
waiting for this
dominoes
day.
getting ready.
Yep.
I'm
So
like my hand's shaky. I'm ready to clack that first. Let's get it. Let's just send it all down. America needs an enema. Desperately cleanse it all out. Dr. Jekyll saying that most people won't admit to vote. People with regrets voting Biden, they won't admit it for pride. And I kind of get that. Dr. Jekyll also asking, I always wondered why Obama would have a morbid racist as his vice president. It's because Obama's not in charge. Biden's not in charge. Look at Trump. Trump was kicking ass. He had everybody fighting him because they think they are in charge. They killed Kennedy right in front of us and said, what are you going to do about it? We put Johnson in and then elected a Bush and then another Bush. So they thought that they were in charge. And
they attached Bush to Reagan. Yeah.
And they're ruthless. They will kill. They
attached LBJ to JFK, who was ambitious. It's not always the right person. They just try to pick a complementary piece. And this was a bad one. I'm sure Obama was like, I don't know if I want Biden, but that's what the DNC said. Hey, this is a great running mate for you. So that's how it all works. Or Mike Pence for Trump. Could have had so much better, but that's the way it works. But
Jocelyn here saying, yes, the Bidens are criminals, allegedly. Yes. Dr. Jekyll also saying, happy birthday, Brian. Thanks. Did I mention that?
Happy birthday, yes.
How does he know? We mentioned it yesterday and he was in the show. Thank you very much. I'm finally 21, so maybe someone can buy me a drink tonight. Frankie saying, oh my God, that's my new saying, Brian, LOL. What saying? What did I say? I said so much.
Ooh, I know.
Frankie, please elaborate. I appreciate that. But now I want to know. Hopefully, maybe I said something interesting. We could turn it into merchandise, put it on a hat. Jocelyn saying, what's the point of investigating something that everybody knows when nothing is going to be done about it? God, that's back to the everybody, somebody, nobody, everybody, somebody, nobody, anybody. We're back to that again. Yeah, what's the point? Good Lord. I mean, that's the Epstein case in a nutshell. Oh, okay. So you said that's my new phrase. America needs an enema. Now there's two places I'll attribute.
Make a T-shirt. There you go.
Let's go.
Brian will. Yep.
Let's go. But you know me, Blake. I'm going to ask you to do it, and you're not going to do it. I'm going to say, well, it's a good idea, and we never get it done. But it should be America needs an enema. But that I can pseudo attribute that to two places. Jack Nicholson in the late 80s, no, early 90s version of Batman. The world needs an enema. That was a Jack Nicholson Joker moment, and then of course, Anima was the song by Tool. Off the self-titled or off the Anima album. I want to see it come down, suck it down, flush it down. I can't imagine why the world wouldn't welcome any change, my friend. So yeah, go on. Yeah, there's a video I made. I don't know where to post it, but it's awesome. Yes, America needs an enema. Okay. Any final thoughts on this topic before we move on to the next one, Blake?
No, it's still a developing story. So it's just awesome. I'm glad that this is what we got with the Republican Congress.
Thank God.
They're doing their job.
Thank God. Jocelyn wraps this up saying our DOJ is corrupt to the core. Yes, it all must be flushed out of our colon into a bag, down the drain, press the flush button. Outright revolution is looking more and more like the only solution to this madness. That's what they want. We got it. We've got to exhaust every peaceful, legal solution to remove the monsters and the demons. We have to exhaust all of our peaceful options. So
yeah, it's kind of like Putin and the invasion of Ukraine. Like he refrained for as long as he could, held out, and side issue, but it's comparable to that. But a lot of news stories to cover today, and that is not one of them.
Next topic.
All right.
By the way, checking in with you. How do you like the pace of today's show? It is more rapid. It is. Can you feel the urgency to kind of keep it chugging along? And we've started turning off a couple of exits, and we've grabbed the wheel and brought it back on. I'm like, no, slap it up.
Right.
No, stay focused.
No detours today. We'll try. Yeah, we're gonna stay on the road.
So here's the next one. Blake, do you agree or disagree I guess so one of the final boilerplate topic is what are the updates on the Trump indictment. I guess maybe I should change the boilerplate to say updates on the Trump legal persecution. So on that front, would you agree or disagree, Blake, that the Jean Carroll lawsuit against Trump was a political hit job?
It sure seems that way. So yeah, they're definitely trying to get him after anything, and they're just pulling up this old case from 30 years ago. But he has been hit with it. So let me pull up a story. There's a couple of them on there, so it's interesting to note. So this is Trump yesterday saying he has absolutely no idea who this woman is. The New York City jury finds Trump liable for sexual abuse in a 30-year-old case. Jury has ordered him to pay $5 million in damages to E. Jean Carroll for quote unquote sexually abusing her 3 decades ago and then defaming her by calling her a liar. So, but what was interesting was that why I say it's a political hit job, because Carroll was represented by Roberta A. Kaplan. The judge in the case was Lewis Kaplan, and the suit was financed by billionaire LinkedIn co-founder and Democratic mega donor Reid Hoffman, who also happened to visit Jeffrey Epstein at his Pedo Island and spent a night at his New York City townhouse. So here he is, Reid Hoffman, also met the sex trafficker on at least a couple of different occasions. And here is E. Jean Carroll, who once told Anderson Cooper that rape is sexy and a fantasy, and it creeped him out so much that he threw it to a commercial. So let's run this real quick. Brian, tell me if you can hear this.
You don't feel like a victim. I was not thrown on the ground and raped.
Can you hear it?
Yes.
All right.
The word rape carries so many sexual connotations. This was not sexual. It hurt. It just But I think most people think rape it is a violent assault. It is not. I think most people think of rape as being sexy. Sexual rape. Think of the fantasies. We'll go take a quick break. If you can stick around, we'll talk more on the other side.
Yeah, he's probably going to coach her during the commercial break. Be like, what the hell, lady? But to be fair, just to play this other side, is that, Trump really didn't do himself any favors in the deposition. And it came back to bite him in the ass, saying he doesn't know her. He confused her with his former wife, Maples. And he wasn't really there. So he should have gone there, had his lawyer coach him on the deposition, because it didn't go right. And you're going to play that in front of the jury, and you're not there to defend yourself, then these things can work against you. But he is appealing it, so it's probably going to drag out for a long time. Maybe she'll end up with half the money. So it's frivolous. And then they didn't find anything with rape. I don't know. It's something to do with him in a dressing room, and there were a couple of witnesses. But again, 30 years ago, she's not exactly credible. And so that's it. So there it is, another frivolous lawsuit that they're trying to stick anything to him that they can and damage him in front of 2024. So there you go. There's your update as far as I know. Brian, what did you take from this?
I mean, the whole plot line is directly lifted from a Law and Order episode, right?
That I don't know. I never watched Law and Order.
Yeah, my understanding. It was one of the SVU or something. It was a Law and Order tangential. The accusation was legitimately lifted directly from that. Is my understanding. I mean, what are we? What? So they said he's not guilty of rape. Is what they were judges. And
yes,
then
half of it's just defamation. So I don't know. Maybe
I said judges, but I meant jurors or something.
Yeah.
So the jurors said, no, we're not going to find guilty on rape, but we're going to find you guilty of public. How did they phrase it? Of defaming her. It's like, well, she lied about raping you. Of course, you're going to say that she's a liar. And they dinged him for that and said, you're guilty of defaming her. Oh, you mean the one lying about raping her? We're living in a cuckoo clock. Make it make sense, Blake.
Well, if he would have been more prepared for this deposition and didn't confuse this lady with his ex-wife, it could have had a much different impact if you would have been more compassionate about it. But I think just the way that he did it,
compassionate about a liar, compassionate about somebody who's accusing me of
well,
something.
right, but
true.
the jury is going to watch this, and when they saw the deposition, it doesn't lean in his favor. It doesn't look like he's taking it that seriously, and when he's confusing it with his wife, it doesn't look good. So I know it's blurry. It's 30 years ago. It's probably BS, and he thought he could just walk in there and do his thing because he's confident and he can sell anything to anybody. And I did watch part of this on a YouTube for one of my favorite YouTube channels, Bruce Rivers, criminal lawyer, and then he spelled it out and he showed it, and I thought he made a point. So this could have gone differently, but again, it could have been so much worse too. So it's really in those optics, but again, it's going to be appealed, and half of it's just the defamation stuff. So it's just trivial stuff.
Defamation. All right. Jocelyn is chiming in a couple of comments, and I do like your comments. Your comments are that's why I read them, because you write good stuff. An honest judge would have dismissed on a motion for summary judgment for zero evidence, but since it went to trial, witnesses on where Trump was that date to clearly dispute the allegation. Yeah, and then with E. Jean Carroll, why didn't E. Jean Carroll file a criminal complaint? Why was it a civil lawsuit? If she filed a criminal complaint, the police would investigate, and if she was found to be lying, she would go to jail. You know, I think very strongly, I'm a firm believer that the liars like Jussie Smollett, like Bubba Wallace, like LeBron James, allegedly with his hate crime that had zero evidence. It's easier when there's a direct person that's being accused of a rape, for example. Like some of these Bubba Wallace, like there's no one to point to. Jussie Smollett pointed at two fake MAGA Republicans at 3 a.m. in a blizzard. It was such a ridiculous story. But yeah, going after people, yeah, she would be going to jail if that were the case. That needs to become the new standard. You just saw the Buffalo Bills had a player who was a punter for his team. He was cut from the team, his life ruined. Guess what? He was never at the location where there was a rape. He was accused of being involved in a gang rape or something, like Kavanaugh style. You know, Kavanaugh should put those people that lied on him. Those people should go to jail. We have to start normalizing dropping hammer on people who are lying about stuff like this. You have to, or else you're going to get more of it. Stay on offense. Jocelyn adds, don't forget New York made up a new law to extend the statute of limitations just so Carroll could bring this case. That is ridiculous. New York is out of control. The people doing that should be, there have to be counter charges. There have to, there has to be. She continues, if a criminal investigation found him guilty of a civil suit, would almost be guaranteed, but she can't go that route because it's not true. There we go. The punt god was his name. Thank you, Dr. Jekyll. You are the North Carolina guy. But yeah, Bills Mafia. I guess you're the Bills fan. Matt Ariza, the punt god, had his life ruined over an accusation. And there's that story of that lady with the BLM that she tried to get to run people over, and she had her life ruined. And it was all false, all fake. So we got to stop believing accusations right off the bat. I know we're doing it with Biden, but the pile of evidence, it's like I'm choking on the evidence. Like I'm trapped under an avalanche mine that's collapsed, and the mine is all of Biden's bullshit, all of his crimes, all of his shady business dealings. So much so that even Barry Soetoro told you and warned you, never underestimate his ability to screw things up. I'm choking on it. I'm trying to claw the dirt away to get some sort of oxygen here, and I can't. Right? It's evidence-based conclusions that I'm jumping to. So,
do you want me to run? Yeah. Do you want me to run a couple minutes of Bruce Rivers' analysis and the Trump deposition?
Yes.
All right, let's do it.
These are the two biggest stories of the day. We have to.
All righty.
The other ones are cultural issues. The fun is important as these two.
Right.
Now, what is from? Set me up. This is
okay. This
we
is
looking
criminal lawyer Bruce Rivers. He's breaking down Trump his loss in the E. Jean Carroll trial. So here we go. Just a couple minute highlight of the deposition that kind of hurt him.
John Johnson, who
Is this loud enough?
was an anchor for ABC. Nice guy. I thought. I mean, I don't know him, but I thought he was pretty good at what he did. I don't even know who the woman. Let's see. I don't know who. It's Marla.
You say Marla's in this photo?
That's Marla. Yeah, it's my wife.
Which one are you pointing to? No.
Here. Oh, sorry.
The person you just pointed to was
I
E.
see.
Jean Carroll.
Who is that? Who is it?
Unbelievable. How I mean, this is classic unpreparedness. He misidentifies the plaintiff as his former wife, Marla Maples, somebody that he married, somebody that he's ostensibly had sex with, somebody that he says had to be his type. So if he's misidentifying the plaintiff as Marla Maples, somebody that he was married to and intimate with, he just shot himself in the foot. But this is how he tries to cover it up.
And the woman on the right is your then wife.
I don't know. This was the picture. I assume that's John Johnson. Is that Carroll? Because it's very blurry.
And I think that must have been
It's
his
pretty
lawyer
blurry.
who was pointing out that's Carroll, trying to catch the error.
Was it blurry? I don't know.
That was an absolute.
No, it wasn't. He just said, must have been blurry because he misidentified it.
Absolute seminal moment.
But as Bruce points out, he's a great lawyer. It's an entertaining channel. He just basically he is not prepared for his trial, and that basically bit him in the ass. If he would have been totally prepared, gotten into that deposition, knowing that the jury is going to watch that, and he knows what to say, coached by his lawyers, then this thing probably would have been thrown out. But they're still going to appeal it. It's still frivolous. It's still old news. It's still a political hit job. But, this could have been.
Most importantly, importantly, likely untrue. Most likely untrue. Right.
Well, it might probably very much exaggerated. So there's also some more to that where they're asking about, grabbed by the pussy and stuff like that. And he was just very callous in the way that he said that. Well, that's been happening for a million years. Famous people are able to do that. So he's saying that in front of the jury, because that deposition tape gets played in front of them. And so that doesn't help his case. So it was very easy for them to convict him and say, yeah, he's defaming this woman. But they didn't convict it on rape because that was total BS. But if he would have been there and if he would have prepared better and made a better video, then this probably would have been thrown out completely.
I had a couple weeks ago, I spent some time with Anomaly, a hip hop artist, musician, and harmonica player. I'm sorry, hip hop artist, media analyst, and harmonica player. And one of the things that he said, that's how he said he wanted to be identified. It was check out the video. It's a long.
Yeah, you got 4 hours. Clear up your afternoon. Yes.
I'm reminded of something because he kept a few times. He said, 2015, 2017 Trump was on point with his tweets. He was sharp. He was fast. And he just says he's not the same anymore. He's lost a step. He's not as prepared. He's not as he doesn't have it like he used to have it. He made that point on more than a couple occasions throughout that entire weekend at that music convention, including during our interview. But that's kind of what that reminded me of instantly, was just he's not like you said, attention to detail.
Well, when you're so confident that you can go in and convince anybody of anything, and you're not prepared, it can bite you, and that's exactly what happened there. What it appears.
All right, so what are we on now? This is not criminal, because it's not a criminal proceeding. There's like a monetary punitive damage thing, and that's likely to be appealed, or has that already been appealed?
Yeah, it's going to be appealed, and I'd say it's probably going to drag out for a long time. So,
Well,
but I mean, he's a billionaire. It's it's frivolous stuff. It's nothing but. And it's sad because a lot of these rich people, they do get a lot of these lawsuits and stuff. And we saw the Stormy Daniels thing, and who knows what else is going on. They're trying to get, so he's being scrutinized. So he's got to be careful. But this wasn't too bad.
Attacked. He's being attacked.
Right.
Dr. Jekyll says, I look like I'm in a surveillance van on a stakeout. That's a pretty big van. That is the biggest Sprinter van I've ever seen. On The Simpsons, they have on the side of it, Flowers by Irene. It's the FBI van. It's got the big set. Flowers by Irene with big FBI. Okay, anyway, so what, I guess, how do we wrap this story up? It's that likely to be appealed.
Yep.
Is this going to
not a big deal? It's going to be appealed. It might lose a couple $1 million on, getting defamed. And that's it. No rape. Nothing major, no felonies.
Well, so it was defamation. What you said, but it was also sexual assault. They felt that he sexually assaulted based on whatever evidence there was, which was very scant.
Right.
Do you think it'll hurt his chances of re-election?
No, I mean, for rape, yeah, but not whatever this is. No, I don't think it's that big of a deal. It's just $5 million in damage for it's sexual abusing 3 decades ago and defaming. That's it. So there's no rape, there's no felony, there's nothing major. It's going to be appealed, and that's it. But there you go. That's they got what they wanted, and it was funded. It was a political hit job.
Yeah, I mean it's being financed. Yeah, it just. Welcome to 2023, folks. Okay, we got a few more topics we want to cover. We got 20 minutes.
We do. All righty, let's hit it.
Them right about now. All right, Blakenstein, do you agree or disagree that we should open our borders to welcome new immigrants to United States?
I am going to disagree. This is not the way that the immigration policy is supposed to work. But that's, they basically allowed a crisis to fester. And now we've got...
Blake, why are you being so misogynist? I mean, transphobic. Well, I mean, racist.
I would love it if the economy was booming so hard and we had so many jobs and we just needed good people to come in here, vet them, check them out. Do they want to be Americans? They're excited. They want to learn the language. They love the culture. They want to come here and work and embrace the country. I would love that, and we could bring them all in, give them all jobs, and we could all thrive together in this country. But that's not the reality. Our economy is in trouble. We don't. Despite the fact that they think there's a lot of jobs, it's a lot of people that are working, 2 or 3 jobs, and they finally, opened up after closing everything for COVID. But there's a lot of issues, and we've got 150,000 people that are stationed around the border, ready to invade. I guess it's going to be tomorrow. I don't know, with the Title 42. And once that's done, and then we're going to be set for a massive invasion. And we don't know who these people are. And a lot of people are going to get away. Not all of them are. So I don't know how that works. But we'll see tomorrow once we see people scrambling around the border in various parts, whether that's, Texas or Arizona or what have you. California, who knows? So it's getting ready.
I'm going to
disagree.
I'm going to disagree there as well, and allow me to do this. I'd like to posit. I would like to put out there a non. Go ahead. Go ahead. Show me what you have there with the article, and then I'll give you my perspective.
Okay, well, this is a free-for-all. So we got 150,000 documents poised to surge the southern border when they end Title 42. CNN reported 60,000 migrants are in Chihuahua with 35,000 in Tamaulipas and another 25,000 in Coahuila. That's like, I don't know if that's Mayan or something. That's some old language. Anyway, we got Bill Mulligan reporting on thousands of migrants, Title 42. And we won't get into too much of that. We pretty much covered it extensively, but people are crossing whether the Rio Grande or where have you. The mad scramble to invade America. But I did want to say, because part of the reason I brought up this question is that America's founders did not support open borders, and neither should we. Safety of the republic depends essentially on the energy of a common national sentiment, on a uniformity of principles and habits. And I'm just going to get to a part. They go in. This is a great article from the Federalist, and they go into some of the quotes from the forefathers. Benjamin Franklin, Jefferson, all that. But George Washington expressing a similar concern that immigration does not benefit America when immigrants congregate and retain their own language, habits, and principles, good or bad, which they bring with them. Instead, he firmly believed that new immigrants or their descendants should, by an intermixture with our people, get assimilated to our customs, measures, and laws. In a word, soon become one people. So, not just if they're going to come here and they're not really embracing America, they're just trying to get out of their country, but they're not here to learn the language or to work or to assimilate or to respect, then that is a problem, especially if we don't even know who they are, if they've got a criminal record. So there's a lot to this. And we covered this yesterday, and just all the illegal things that they were trying to smuggle over the border, fentanyl or cocaine, or some of that stuff we probably might like, but it's not a good idea in general to just have the open border policy. That's not how things are supposed to work. But there seems to be an ulterior motive here. So that's all I've got on that subject. But go ahead, Brian. Let's get your take, and then we'll cruise on from there.
Jocelyn is saying her neighbor is from Texas, and she said they're seeing immigrants on the streets, aliens on the streets in Austin. We got to be really careful with the words we're using. She also adds that they're seeing a lot of aliens in Sedona for months, a lot of Chinese men. So after they flew their balloon over, you read the book 1 Second After by William Forstchen, you will hear that theoretically, replaced EMP nuclear blasts could shut the entire power grid down, at which point it's on. The invasion begins, and we are under attack instantly. It could happen that fast. And if you think I'm crazy, remember how everything changed one day because of a virus? Because a bat kissed a pangolin? Remember that, Jon Stewart?
Yeah.
This is happening everywhere. Dr. Jekyll saying if it were Latino women with plates of food, I'd say come on over.
Hey, great people, great culture, great food. I'm all in favor as long as they're legit and there's somewhere to put them where they can be productive American citizens.
A lot of Chinese men coming over. I'm telling you.
Yeah, that's not good. Yeah, what the hell is that?
I mean, are you ready if the internet goes off that you're going to have to get your stuff in order and defend your country? Are you ready? Is everybody ready? Everybody out there, are you ready for the second revolution? Are you ready for the invasion? Are you ready to be attacked? Because the bioweapon was an attack. That came from China. And now we're seeing Chinese men, according to this report. We're seeing it from Mulligan. We're seeing lots of it. This is not just, there's someone from Venezuela and it's drugs, it's so bad, and there's shootings in the streets. They just want a better life. And they're going to come here and learn the language and stay out of jail, and they're not going to get on welfare. And you're like, okay, well, in that fantasy land, okay, well, that one person could come over, I guess. And it's like, that's not, what that is? That's taking the 0.00001% of the abortion debate. It's like, well, what if there's incest? What if the uncle? Okay, yes, they're collectively 1% of the number of abortions. How about let's focus on the 99% of them that are just, whoops, or like, I shouldn't have done that. I should have been contention. I should have been responsible, but I'll just think. So like you kind of nailed it, Blake. It's like if the right people, they've all been vetted, but also you said if they're booming economy, which there isn't. There's not. Every place is laying 10,000 people off. All these big box, not all, but many of these big companies are laying off 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, 50,000. There's articles every day. We're seeing it every day in the paper, in the news. This is not the time to be adding people, except here's what I was going to say. Here was my time. And I'm Dr. Jekyll saying he's been ready to fight. He's just waiting for the orders. MJ Sedona said if they take our guns away, there will be a standing army to take down our country. All right, ready? This is my perspective on this. Blake, you can engage in this practice, this endeavor that I'm about to embark upon, or you could just sit there uncomfortably while I do it. But I am closing my eyes and I'm putting my hands.
Okay. Well, remember we're out of time. Keep an eye on the clock. All right.
I am going to offer a plea to God, to our Heavenly Father, to the Grand Architect of the universe, to the all-powerful spirit that unites us as one energy, spirit, and pulse. I often think most people see what's going on and are petrified, terrified, don't know what to do. We don't know how to fix. Country has been overthrown by this really trying to damage the livelihoods, the civil liberties and freedoms of the great residents of America, and we are under an invasion right now. We are more and more likely preparing ourselves mentally, physically, spiritually, lies for an imminent attack. Please, we beg of you for your eternal oversight, love, and assistance. Should you give a crap about us in the first place, I'm gonna hope that you do. I'm gonna hope that you do, and we need a Hail Mary here. We the last second play to. It seems like all hope is lost, but while we're there, 1 second on the clock, there's a chance for a trick play. And we're in over our heads, and it's never been this dire as it is right now. So guide us to make smart decisions and to defend this great country. So mote it be. Amen. That's all I got. All right, let's go. Let's go to the next topic.
All righty.
All right.
Pastor Brian. All right.
Do you
So Pastor Brian. Yes.
Yes.
All right.
It runs in the
right.
It runs in the family. Okay, Blake, do you agree or disagree that we should stop policing Tucker?
Not we, but yeah, it depends on who we is. Definitely not me, but although I want to make sure that everybody's held accountable, including us, trying to get things correct. That's what anybody strives to in journalism, is trying to get as accurate as possible. And so,
not the deep state.
Not the deep state. No, not. And this is
legacy media.
This is basically coming straight from an NBC lying legacy dinosaur media that is
say it that way from now
on.
Yes, no more mainstream media. They're the furthest from mainstream, and especially NBC. You can just call it CIA media. It's run by the deep state. We've known this for a very long time, but that's why you're watching us, not them. So thank you for watching us at the New American Media. We appreciate it. We started the New American Media because we know the old American Media, what they've been up to. 12 years ago, we did this. We're not new to the game. And if you check our track record checks out. So what do we got here? There's an announcement from Tucker.
This is a huge story. So Tucker Carlson is going to be basically bringing his, his news show to Twitter. So, but Elon Musk, the liberals were just totally freaking out about this. But Elon Musk said it's not like a deal signed. He's subject to the same rules and rewards of all content creators. So he's allowed to bring a show. We're doing our show right now. We're broadcasting on Twitter. And if we get something wrong, then they can bring up community notes and they can clarify that. I'm okay for the record.
How awesome is that to have like a team of people helping clarify? we get things wrong. We think that we have a story figured out, and maybe we read a site that misrepresented something, and it was brought to us in the wrong way. And I want to correct things that are wrong. I want to correct things that I didn't quite nail the first time. I want that.
Yeah, absolutely. We should all want that, unless you're getting paid to push a different narrative. But if you're getting to the story, we got following Tucker Carlson's announcement that he will be relaunching his show and streaming it exclusively on Twitter. Elon Musk quickly clarified that no deal has been signed. Just saying we're back. Starting soon, we'll bring a new version of the show we've been doing for the last 6.5 years to Twitter. It's according to Carlson, saying we'll be bringing other things too, which we'll tell you about. But for now, we're just grateful to be here. Free speech is the main right you have. Without it, you have no others. See you soon. So here is Elon Musk clarifying that on this platform, unlike the one-way street of broadcast, people are able to interact, they can critique, and they can refute whatever is said. Anything misleading will go to community notes. So there it was. I think this is pretty awesome stuff. But, you have these liberal hacks that are freaking out. Here's one of them, Chris Hayes, saying kind of fitting because Elon's goal for this site has always been to turn it into the next Fox News. And that's bullshit. And Chris Hayes, if you want to go do a show on Twitter, you can do your fucking show. We're not trying to turn it into MSNBC. But at least I can call you out on Twitter or put community notes on your bullshit, because no one's going to call you out on MSNBC, and he's not going to have anybody on his show that's ever going to challenge him. And there's another hack, Aaron Rupar, saying, for the second time today, I feel compelled to point out that Elon is turning Twitter into a right-wing misinformation machine. So Ian Mel's Chung says, what's stopping you from simply posting more left-wing content instead of trying to get conservatives deplatformed? Great point. And then CNN got roasted because this is the lying legacy media saying, calling Tucker Carlson a right-wing extremist. So right-wing, look what way they frame that. It's so disingenuous. This is why we hate the media. This is why we have to do what we do.
Yes.
Because Tucker's a right-wing, sure, that's fine. But to say he's an extremist is not accurate. So they'll relaunch it, and people were calling him out. Right-wing extremist is basically anyone who doesn't automatically believe whatever Biden administration tells us. There's a few of them. Oh, here's your Simpsons episode. I'm a journalism. You guys sound jealous. Marxist extremist network. Anyway, it goes on. But let's see. I know there's a couple other stories about that. So the NBC host is worried no one will be able to police what Tucker Carlson says if he moves his show to Twitter. But that's not.
You mean the CIA's not in charge of everything anymore? Oh, no, you can't lie to us again to get us involved in foreign conflicts, risking a nuclear World War III, an undeclared war? Fuck off.
Yeah, pretty much. So, they even had Brian Stelter on to talk about it. I forget who this guy was. It's NBC host Tom Costello, worried that no one will be able to police what Carlson says if he moves his show to Twitter. But that's not accurate. So between community notes, hey, and Tom Costello, if you think he's being inaccurate, then why don't you carry that on your show or you call it on Twitter? So this is how it works.
Tom Costello, more like Abbott and Costello with that clown take.
Right. So they do not want competition. And here's a great meme from Sovereign Media. This is Ben Swan's outfit, little Step Brothers meme with Tucker Carlson and his new BFF, Elon Musk. So love this one.
Best friends? Yes. Yep. Oh, no. Yep. That's awesome. Yeah. You look at the Twitter community notes option, that is more honesty. That is, you know what that is? That's like, what's that game show or The Millionaire?
Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? It's like you poll the audience. You poll the audience and go boop, 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 boop. And it'll tell you what 300 people are thinking, and it gives you some perspective. If you get ratioed 9-1 that you're lying, that's an important thing to see and take into consideration. Go, well, nobody buys this. 9 out of 10 people are saying this is incorrect. God, I would love for that to be on NBC, except NBC wouldn't be able to say a thing because everything they say is trash. It's all
Oh, that'd
lies.
be glorious. Yeah.
Yes, so like that's the best method we've come up with so far to kind of try to keep things as accurate as possible. The community notes, that is awesome. Remember Chris Hayes when we ran into him at the 2016 RNC? How douchey that guy was. What a he was at the waterfront. Remember there was that guy from Comedy Central with the bullhorn and Alex Jones and I think Roger Stone and Chris Hayes was right there. And we tried talking.
Yeah, he probably was. I can't quite remember, but yeah, he's a clown. I think I've seen him a couple times.
Little mousy weasel and just
yeah.
You know what? He treated us the same way Tim Pool treated me. Just couldn't be bothered to have a human interaction like he was so damn important. Anyway, I digress. It wasn't a great interaction I had with either of those two, but I digress. Okay, yeah. MJ is adding, I don't know, it's just strange that other top journalists were quietly deplatformed by Musk. Which ones? She says the ones who covered the COVID issues had to leave MSM news jobs. I mean, yeah, fewer, less censorship, the better. And you know what? A for adulterer right on the that is a good point though. Jocelyn, you're saying as long as you pay the $8 to be seen though, right? Yeah, my feed, I put more energy into it and it has petered off real quick and been losing followers because I'm not choosing to pay the Elon tax. I don't like that. I don't like that.
Pay it, man. We got to support this platform. He's bringing it to us. And it's all liberal hacks that are like, yeah, they think they're entitled to have it for free. But I disagree, Brian. Brian's a cheapskate. He needs to spend that money, buddy. Support free speech. Support Elon. They ain't getting all the government funding and all the tax breaks and all that stuff they were before. He needs the money to keep the platform running. It's good to spend the money. I mean, you want to be seen, that's how you're going to do it.
I'm frugal and I'm thrifty. I'm trying to maximize my assets. This goes to the Dr. Jekyll question. Have y'all ever had a question where the answer wasn't obvious? Have y'all ever disagreed on a hot topic? Well, yes, right here. I don't like spending extra money. Blake's like, you got to support him. And I get Blake's point, and I've actually been considering doing it anyway. But to Jocelyn's point, screw that. Don't throttle my reach. Now you're just as bad as YouTube. Now you're doing the same thing to derank, demonetize, shadow ban. It's all this. It's in the same cluster of crap, and I don't like it.
No, I mean most people are just
in places unless you pay the toll to cross the bridge. I don't like that.
Well, that's just for influencers, right? But people that are just general rank and file users, or people that are just lurking, or people that are reply guys, or people you don't need to get a verification. It doesn't care if you get things seen or not. But for influencers or people that want to turn this into a business or a platform to bring media, I think it's absolutely they need to pay. So I like what he's doing there. And I think that's a fair system. It's the only way. How well he can't run a charity. It's going to go out of business. And so this isn't like when Twitter and the deep state are intertwined and they get the tax breaks. So how are they going to survive and make money?
You know how? You cut 80% of your staff, which you did, because they were all censoring people. So
pay the $8, Brian. Just stop. All right.
He said it doesn't. What did you say?
How are you supposed to get reach and all the same benefits and you don't want to pay? I think it's a small price to pay, especially for no censorship or what have you.
Yeah, but I'm just adding for perspective there that Elon in a recent interview he was asked about. He's like, it surprisingly doesn't cost a lot to run this company if you cut 90% of the dead weight. If you cut all the dead weight out, then it's a lean organization. Like, what are you doing? There's not much that goes into it. You just kind of maintain. The infrastructure's built. You just keep it on the tracks. I don't know, but I will say I have been considering going that route and buying that. I think another area that Blake and I have disagreed would be the little Ronnie D. I'm not a DeSantis fan. I'm out on DeSantis. I'm officially out. Blake's more open to the possibility that he could be our guy. I'm not. I'm done. I've made my decision. Line in the sand. You get concrete. Pour the form. I've set my opinion. It's Trump or bust 2024. because if the deep state can take him out, they can take anybody out. So on general principle, he's the only horse in this race for me. But Blake is a little more pragmatic on the issue. I respect him for having that opinion. However, it is the wrong opinion, the incorrect opinion. It is the foolhardy opinion, in my estimation. However, we do agree to disagree on some things. So yes, thank you for asking that. Jocelyn adds, however, the propaganda networks, they are going to fall, and I'm loving every part of that. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. We're loving it. Yes.
Right. All right, Brian, we are
Crumble is great.
5 minutes over our time.
I tried. I did pretty good.
We're good. Yeah, we're good. Let's try to wrap it up in 5 minutes. How many more stories we got?
2 stories. Let's go to the next one.
All right.
Yes, here we go. Now, Blake, asked me in pre-production if you wanted to, because we said, do you want to kind of run the show and throw it? And I said, no, I'm capable of it. However, the thing that I did today, I included our guests a lot more than I could have. I could have ignored the whole column of.
No, we wanted. Yeah, we definitely we're trying to get our tighten this up so we're not going into too many long form videos. Just trying to stay on topic, clean it up, but we also want to have the interaction. So, however, maximize our efficiency. I'm down with that.
We'll count this as a success today. However, we can still tighten even more. But we love these comments. So
right.
Anyway,
I'm thinking like an hour to an hour and a half show would be perfect. But I'd love to hear input from the people too. So we're definitely down. But I'm trying not to avoid the marathon shows and just be the real action packed.
Which we did. We did today. We had a sense of.
We've done great. This is a great.
One of our better shows, I would say. A couple of quick comments to address before we get to these last two. Jocelyn says Musk should fix the shadow banning. I agree. I just don't like the pay to play. She says, right.
I think they knock us down in the algorithms. I think that's partly is the shadow banning, and part of it I think is just that I've been very aggressive towards a lot of the progressives. I've been blocked a lot. I've probably been blocked a couple hundred times, and I think that really that's bitten me in the ass, even though I think I was right to call out most of those people. Some of it was kind of harsh, some of it was funny, but some of them, they fucking deserved every shitty word I threw at them. And fine, they can block me, but, I don't think that should hurt my overall score that badly. But I think that's part of why my reach is limited. And I've noticed that when I've tried to troll some of these legacy assholes, my comment won't show up. I have to go look at another account. I have a backup account, and then I can look, and then it's like, oh, my comment is hidden. I gotta hit the button at the bottom that says show more responses. So they've kind of forced me to try to not try to be nicer, I guess, when you respond to other people. But
what was that Nudge? That book Nudge. I forget the author. What was the author's name? Glenn Beck used to talk about it all the time. But it's about gently nudging you into the only option you're going to have. We're gonna create policies to. So I kind of like that if you're not getting blocked as much, you're not as aggressive, and you're being more polite and civil, and maybe that should be rewarded. I do get some of that nudging toward. We will reward you with more reach if you're kind of more civil. Keep it a mostly civil conversation. But sometimes you got to flip your middle fingers up and just drop a couple curses, because you do want to curse the demons. You cannot play ball with them. You cannot placate the bad people. You have to call them out for what they are, and you have to stay on offense. And sometimes you get fired up saying that. And I think the American language is beautiful that way, because when you're feeling so impassioned about a topic, it's a way to kind of add your cherry on top. It's on the cake. It's the chocolate or the caramel. Sometimes a curse is really helpful to get the point, to drive the point across. So anyway, Jocelyn,
Twitter stops you. It says, "Do you really want to say that?" And then if I do, it'll be disappeared. It'll go out there.
It gives you a frowny face.
Right.
Do you really want to say it? You're like, yes. And it goes, too bad, so sad. Okay, Jocelyn says he's going to make Tucker a billionaire, and Tucker will make Elon billions. You heard it on Agree to Disagree here first. Yes, I like that. I don't know if I like that. You heard it here on Agree to Disagree first part, or yeah, I like to think that if there's one platform that's going to be open to new media, that is where we have our energy. Take our eggs out of the idiot baskets of Facebook and YouTube and put it at a place like Twitter that's temporarily allowing us permission to speak freely, permission granted.
Right.
No.
But there's also another feature, I believe, is with the subscribers. Now you can pay a few bucks a month towards the content creators that you like, but you're not going to be eligible if you're not paying your $8 a month.
What other provisions are there? We'll look into that. I know there's a lot of people. I read the comments like, yeah, I submitted for that like 6 months ago. I haven't heard anything back.
Some people do have it. You'll see a subscribe button on there. It's a work in progress. It's coming out, but don't expect it if you're not putting any money into Twitter. So.
All right. Well, Dr. Jekyll says DeSantis needs to stay in Florida and wait his turn. Yeah, I believe that.
I agree with that. Right.
Yeah, he's needed in Florida, and if he ran as Trump's VP, I think that would be very helpful for a lot of reasons. The age difference, I don't know. I'm just really concerned about the neocons that have gravitated toward DeSantis. I just don't trust him anymore.
Yep.
And Dr. Jekyll's prefer Trump Jr. over DeSantis as well. So, okay. I mean, that would be interesting too. So, Gavin Newsom, Blake, disagree that he should endorse 1.2 million checks.
I would disagree with that. I think their senses when they actually did the math, because they were talking about paying these outrageous sums of money towards people who were never slaves, like as you said, in a state that never had slavery. It doesn't make any sense. And it's just incredible the amount of money that would go towards let me dig into this here. So California Governor Gavin Newsom does not endorse the reparation checks, claiming slavery's legacy is more than cash payments, instead pledging systemic changes like equity, housing, education, and health.
Look at all those buzzwords right there. Legacy, pledge, systemic, equity, housing, education, health. These are all just buzzwords. It's all just verbal diarrhea, like in the vein of Kamala Harris. It's like, just how many buzzwords can you put out there and say nothing? But he did say no, right? He said he's not endorsing it, right? He's not.
Yeah. So I think once they actually did the math on that, and they found out that if you supported the proposal for giving like $1 million to every single black resident in California, it would cost the state about $800 billion. That's over double the annual budget. So they would go bankrupt to pay all these people.
I just want to know why they came up with 1.2 million. I think that's insulting. It should be 12 million per person.
No, that's good. There's a lot of people that are freaking out. There are actually people that are going to these committees and they're speaking and they're saying, yeah, we should get more than that.
1.2 trillion per person is more like it.
Yeah, I swear I saw something.
Nothing will ever satisfy someone who is standing there with their hands on their hips saying, you owe me. For what? For something that never happened to me. Huh? What? You're claiming moral authority to take from me?
Right.
Why? I can't even fathom what has to be in somebody's heart.
Yeah, here they are.
How badly they must have been abused by their parents and their teachers and their colleagues, their friends, the rest of their family to reach a conclusion like that.
Brian, real quick.
I speak truth. We put an hour and 2 minutes on a suffrage that we have been going from generation to generation. This cannot be discussed. We need to make this a national and an international emergency to deal with the pain and the suffering.
I love it. I mean, it's great, but
Why is she yelling at us? We didn't do anything.
Yeah, but I mean, well, can you blame her though too if there was like millions of dollars at stake? And it's like an easy payoff. It seems good in theory, but the reality is it would bankrupt the state, and it's not sustainable. Well, I don't know how bankrupt it would be, because a lot of those, I'm sure they would spend a lot of that money too. So I don't know, but it's just ridiculous. So. And it's not going to work, but I can't blame them for trying. But no, it's funny. I'm okay with him emphasizing to take care of the poor. I think that the poorest communities should be addressed first. So I'm down with that. If they can improve, the changes in housing, education, healthcare, that should be the priority. I think that would do a lot more good in the long run anyway. So I think this could still be a win, but it's not going to be just giant payments sent out. So
if you want, but how about if you want 40 acres and a mule, maybe you do take a place like the Mojave Desert that is zero. It's desolate, right? A lot of California is federal land. No, I mean maybe there's a way to do like low income housing where there's like ownership. There's some sort of path to ownership, and you create a new city out in the nothingness of the vast desert, and you build geothermally, you dig down so it's 65 to 72, a lot of air conditioning, and I mean maybe there are some opportunities to create ownership possibilities for people that have been on the outside looking in. But I'm done with this separating by race and complaining and just yelling and trying to shame and vilify. It's just, look, this is America 2023. Figure it out. I don't know. You have to be responsible for you. I'm not responsible for Blake. He's not responsible for Jocelyn. Nobody's responsible for anybody else. You look in the mirror. I took you back to that's what you got. Looking at other people and yelling that you need to give me shit. God, that's such a bad look. It's just I don't see how that's going to get you anywhere successfully. Jocelyn adds she's going to move back to California and identify as a black gay man. Blake,
you can go to San Francisco. You could take like 75 different classifications for all of the weird sexual orientations that they have, and they can they were talking about like 6 million or something. It's just something so insane that they were going to pay every black resident in San Fran millions of dollars. And I was just like,
it should be 6 trillion. Yeah. Anybody that says anything less than 6 trillion is a transphobe. Katie Cat says she always said that reparations will be money laundered. Jocelyn adds, who were put into camps? Absolutely. Farewell to Manzanar. We all had to read that because we all had to take our daily dose of shame. Once again, something that happened in the 40s that I didn't participate in.
People are still alive, and it happened in California, there's a recent argument there, I don't know if there was
learn from that. We should not do that again. We should put safeguards in place. That's no way to run a country, and we should be aware of that. She continues, or the Native Americans who lost their land.
Okay, so I saw a speech from a Native American saying that, they wanted to deserve that. But I mean, think about like all the country, like the rest of the world, like Europe. How many times has it changed hands? Where, the Mongols take over, the Romans took over. How do you account for the Babylonians or the Assyrians or the Sumerians, the Phoenicians? There's so many ancient cultures that had their land stolen. They were conquered. So are they supposed to get reparations now? I mean, you look at the map of any section of the world and who was running it, it changes, every few decades dramatically. So it's always been the case. So I don't know if that can, it's just not going to work like that. Or how far back do we want to go?
The list is endless, Jocelyn says. Absolutely.
Israel got land back when it was conquered, and it was the Palestine. So that was a freaking mess. It's been a mess ever since.
The Native Americans took it from somebody. Everybody.
Right.
Different
tribes took it from other tribes. Right. It wasn't just one big, giant, peaceful tribe that, So there was all kinds of different factions.
We're here in America
for thousands of years.
We're here in America, and we've created a pretty decent place where you can look in the mirror and level your game up, and you can have a shot. You can live a decent life. That's what this country is, man. Like if you're here legally and you're a part of that, like let's just work to improve ourselves and improve society together. I love this idea from Dr. Jekyll saying maybe Newsom's aunt Nancy's. Oh, that's a tough thing to say. Aunt Nancy's inside trading can pay for the reparations. Yes, Yes, all that insider. Please click the nose and knock Pelosi into jail. Please, this is so obvious what's been happening. Let's get them. Go on offense. Stay on offense, please. Jocelyn says they'll have to be happy with an apology and a stick of gum. Here's your stick of gum. So they'll get that. Jekyll saying, who's apologizing, MJ? Less than 2% of Americans actually descend from slave owners. And by the way, slavery is a global thing. It wasn't invented here. And by the way, we fought a bloody civil war to stop it because America said, this is not how we want to proceed. This was inherited from all of these nations before and these other continents before. And in the the 1860s said, we just know. I mean, it was fought for multiple reasons, but it was ended. Like, we did that. How about they owe us reparations for stopping that barbaric practice? I heard somebody.
Yeah, I want reparations. I'm half Irish. I'm sure my ancestors were. Yeah.
It blew my mind when I heard someone say, "How about they pay us reparations for ending slavery in a bloody civil war?" And you go, "Oh my God, we did. We are owed something." You go down your family line. Who fought in the Revolutionary War? Who fought in the Civil War? You go through the history. And you're like, damn. Well, yeah. Where's mine? We did that. We stopped that shit. But what am I claiming we for? I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything good or bad. I'm not entitled to anything because it wasn't me. I didn't exist. I wasn't around. So yes, who's actually doing that? Dr. Jekyll continues, give him a job application. All right, yeah. Well, why work when you can yell like that lady that maybe stop, lady, what are you yelling at me for? Everyone would have to stand in a circle with the same amount of money and pass it to the left. In other words, Jocelyn adds, add affirmative the Obama phones, cash for clunkers, grade ballooning, job quotas, advertising, 401k woke investments, mob raiding parties, media favoritism, lenient judges, and more and more and more and more. It never stops. And it shows that some people want something for nothing and they think they deserve it. That's the gist of it. We got one more story, Blake. Last thing, final clip. We did it.
Ooh, yeah.
We will finish our show today under 90 minutes. I mean, I was aiming for 60, but
hell yeah,
it's all right.
That's all right. No, it's good. I said anywhere from 60 to 90 minutes. Perfect timing. Then we get cover all the stories, interact with everybody, crack a few jokes, and call it a day. All right.
But I prefer Blake to be happy instead of frustrated. It looks like we're having one of my streams is having connection issues. Oh, maybe they don't like what we just said.
Might be. Well, you're in a different remote location. Your internet is not as the high band that you usually do in your home base.
Yeah,
I think it's just your internet signal is a little wonky today.
Okay, well, we'll see. Okay, final topic.
In the musical van there, yeah.
Yeah, my music van. Okay, so agree or disagree? Like the George Santos arrest was a timed political distraction by the Department of Justice. Agree or disagree?
I'm gonna disagree, but it was put forth out there, and it was an article I did see out of the Federalist, and George Santos did turn himself in. He is arrested. I'm not entirely sure how it all went down. Here we go. Representative George Santos, fraud, money laundering, and theft charges. Federal criminal charges in relation to an alleged scheme with public funds. 13-count indictment unsealed on Wednesday. Charges Santos, only 34 years old, with defrauding prospective political supporters by laundering funds to pay for his personal expenses and illegally receiving unemployment benefits while he was employed and running for Congress. So if I could get this. Here we go.
You try to get.
Here it is.
He got fined $5 million US for he didn't know he committed 30 years ago and there's zero evidence to prove that he did? Okay, yeah, kind of like that.
Right. So this, according to Sean Fleetwood, and I'm not saying he's wrong, is out of the Federalist, DOJ strategically timed the political arrest to coincide with the press conference detailing evidence of Biden corruption. So, decided to arrest New York GOP Santos, money laundering, blah, blah, blah. We already went into that. 13 counts. Of course, he lied on his 2020 and 2022 House disclosure forms by overstating his income and assets. There's a lot of things. But, Santos, he's been under fire since he got in there. This guy fills a pattern. He seems to be a pathological liar and probably a sociopath. This guy's just a total con man in every sense. And we've kind of just been silent. I don't really like the guy that he's there. I don't think that anybody he belongs in Congress. I just don't want to see him replaced with somebody on the different side of the aisle. We need the Republican majority, but this guy is bad news, and he's not credible, and he's a proven liar over and over again. And so I don't know if they would time something like this with a 13 count indictment and wait for it against the Biden thing. And I don't think he's a new guy, and I don't think he's anywhere near important enough to try to set up a political distraction of that magnitude on a story that is as bombshell as the Biden crime family. So that is my take on that. Brian, what do you think?
I mean, everything I've heard about this cat, I mean,
it's all lies.
He's as ridiculous as CNN, Joe Biden, Barack Obama, Nancy Pelosi. He's as crazy as all these people. From everything I've seen, he lies to the same degree that they do. Why aren't the others being thrown in jail?
They lie about like their corruption
laws. They're stealing money. They're breaking laws. They're selling trade secrets. They're committing treason against the American country. They're throwing us headfirst into a potential nuclear war with Russia in an undeclared war. If you can't arrest and jail people for treason over that, spare me your outrage over George Santos, who's just going to clearly lie and take a little bit of money. He's taken what, tens of thousands of dollars, maybe a couple $100,000. Spare me your moral outrage until you throw Pelosi in jail for insider trading. You put Martha Stewart in jail for her tiny little stock something, and you look at the stock trackers of what these people in Congress are doing, spare me. I got no love for Santos. Whatever, get him out. As long as you're getting the other ones out.
All right, I think that's fair. Right.
I mean, to the magnitude, 1,000 times worse is what the Biden crime family is doing, what Obama was doing, what Hillary Clinton was doing, 1,000 times worse. Spare me your outrage on this. I don't like this guy. I don't know him. But I don't like him. He doesn't seem to be above board. Seems to fit in quite nicely with the DC swamp. Get them all out. Put them all in jail. I'm tired of it, Blake. I'm tired of it.
Yep. Oh, I hear you. Yeah. So we got a couple more years to fight this battle. And hopefully, we can make a positive impact and change Congress and this country going forward. Because we have a serious corruption problem. Yeah, Santos is a small fish in the much larger pond there. The swamp, not the pond, the swamp in D.C. So, all right. Well, good stuff. Brian, we got about a minute left.
Just a couple of good comments here. Actually, I'll pull this one off, and I'll just I'll go through all of them because it's all important perspective. Adding this, like, it rounds out like other interesting thoughts and perspectives. I don't see what the fuss is all about. Most of the DC grifters have done the same thing, and nothing happens to them. That's exactly what I'm saying. And well, that's what aboutism. Yeah, what about it? Shut up. Answer the question. Why not them first? If they do it first, then sure, go to this guy second. Why are you starting with him? I'm kind of over it. And that is my concern, Blake. I know you're not a Steven Crowder fan, but I want to bring this up because, okay, fine, you can dislike him. You can see the video. You can always an argument.
It's not about disliking him.
No. But like, okay, and for all those, It is about disliking you. You've never liked him, and you think he's bad. He's a bad dude. Okay, fine.
Pathological narcissist. He's not a bad guy. That's the way he's wired. They're all like that. And he's got a pattern of abusing everybody around him. Everybody. I don't even know how you can still continue to just stand by him. With all of the people that he's
right. Let me get this. I'm not.
But he's like Santos. As far as I'm concerned, he's another pathological
what I'm
person.
getting at is I'm not in the camp of defend George Santos. Nope, not there.
Right.
I'm just saying, when you focus on going after Tucker and Trump and Crowder, and it's all the conservative ones, it's all the libertarian-leaning ones, it's all the right ones. It's not nobody on the left. It's
but
nobody on the left. So
right, we got to hold our own people accountable too. If we want them to go after them, then we have to hold our own people accountable too. And if Crowder's out of line, if Santos is out of line, we're expecting a double standard here. It's like, oh, we'll just go after the left. No. Mind everybody. We got to play by the same rules. So
I get it.
we can't do that double standard. Right.
Only people being fired and being canceled and being it's on the right. Those are the only successful ones. So I'm just saying, as we hold our own accountable. All right. Well, the most successful voice is like Tucker. Tucker's not a bad dude that I've been able to pick up on. No. He was fired. Now he's going to come back, and let's see how he does. But it just seems to be the ones that are getting X'd out there on the right. That's all I'm saying. Want to find another member of Congress guilty on 13 counts? Walk into Congress and throw a rock. That's pretty fair. Jocelyn adds here, she expects Elizabeth Warren to be arrested immediately for falsifying her status as a Native American and the monetary gain associated with that. Yes, we'll hold our breath on that one too, Blake,
I think she genuinely wanted to believe that.
Mad Maxine Waters got caught stealing TARP money, and the Democrats made her head of the finance committee. So yeah, as soon as Maxine goes down, then we can deal with Santos. And we're still waiting.
I gotta go.
Hunter Biden.
I've got to go. I got to knock on the door. I got to go to work. But
it's been
a pleasure. We did an hour and a half. Very good. All right. Okay. Thanks, Brian. Thanks, everybody. Take care. We will see you next time.
To be continued. Follow Blake on Twitter. He's at TV's Blake Walley. Go ahead and do that. Make sure you're following us on Twitter. We're at @American_media_. Follow the New American Media on Rumble. It's our new account. Just press pause and go over there and subscribe. YouTube.com/TheNewAmericanMedia, because the old American Media failed. Go ahead and give us a follow on the Agree to Disagree show on Spotify, our new podcast. Check out American Media and TNAM Chat on Telegram. Do all those things because we're taking the time to unpack the news of the day. And we appreciate all of you participating in today's rapid fire show. To be continued. We'll talk to you again soon. Take care. Peace.